was it that told me about that new manga that came out that's like lampooning the modern audience thing? Who was it that told me about that in chat? I forget offhand who mentioned it to me. But reason why I ask is because Hirohei put out a video a couple days ago that I didn't know about how this manga is pissing people off. And since you guys mentioned it, I thought, oh, we should watch this. So, I want to see this, because I actually know nothing about it. You guys mentioned it on stream, but I have not looked into it I have not looked into it after. And if the modern audience is losing their shit over this, I'm on board. So I want to know about it. So let's find out about it.
So a new manga has come out from Shueisha called Drama Queen, and it's got the modern audience types extremely upset. So basically Japan has been taken over by aliens, although given the scale of what's occurring here and the spaceships that are apparently flying all over the entire sky.
Wait. This cannot be accidental. Between this and this, that cannot be accidental artwork. Not a snowball's chance now, chat. That is sperm. The aliens just jizzed all over Earth, and that is sperm. Yeah, it is the cosmic splooge. Absolutely. And Aki, you ain't the only one. I'm kind of curious, is this, like, hentai? Because based upon this and this, because these are lips. These are like alien lips. Smooching at Twin Tails girl with a bloody nose. So, at the very least, it's going to be ecchi as hell. At the very least.
It's also heavily implied that this alien thing is occurring all over the world as well, although that's still a bit unclear, at least in the first chapter. Now, they're not taking over in the way of, like, direct force. No, it's much more manipulative, because there was a giant meteor that was going to destroy the Earth, to which these aliens suddenly showed up and destroyed the meteor. Now the majority of people on Earth are...
Okay, I'm already gonna call this without even reading it. The aliens sent the meteor flying at Earth, and they blew it up so they could be the quote-unquote saviors. I'll bet you anything that's gonna be a plot point.
Are extremely grateful for their new alien overlords and treat them like a bunch of kings.
It's called Drama Queen,
Elch. Aliens are mistreating humans.
Actually,
treat them like the majority of people on Earth are extremely grateful.
It's thanks to you destroying the giant meteorite that was headed for Earth that we are alive and well today. Thank you, aliens, for finding our planet. Okay.
For their new alien
Oh, is it? Okay. I can turn it up. That's not a problem.
Overlords and treat them like a bunch of kings. Even when some of the aliens are mistreating humans, nobody does anything about it because everyone is basically worshipping these new aliens. There seems to be two main characters so far, one being 17-year-old Namamoto, who seems to constantly be on the receiving end of some levels of physical violence from these aliens, including her boss at work, who constantly physically abuses her. This freaking alien blob thing basically making it a regular thing for him to hit her in the face. And that's not even the only alien that hits her. Earlier than that, there's another one like walking by that elbows her in the face and then refuses to apologize for this apparent accident. Anyways, she despises these aliens, and eventually she meets a coworker of hers at the factory, Kitami, who also hates the aliens, so they get along great. The dude was also hit in the face by that boss of theirs, but he specifically hates the aliens because of how they killed his family. What happened is that his family was celebrating how his little sister got accepted into high school, and suddenly one of these aliens reverses into them with their fancy car and kills them all. None of the alien authorities doing anything, they don't—
What? The car reverses into theirs and kills them all? I'm sorry, were they driving a Pinto? Or not a Pinto, what's that one Yugoslavian car with the gas tank in the trunk that always exploded? Was it a Peugeot? Was that the one that had the gas tank in the front? Yugo, that's what it was. Yugo. Yeah, no, the Gremlin was cool. It was the Yugo. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Were they driving a fucking Yugo? Like, seriously. How does backing up into a car kill everybody unless you're driving a Yugo?
don't care. And the humans don't do anything about this either, because once again, most of them just worship these aliens. And the minority of humans out there who don't worship the aliens are basically too afraid to do anything about the stuff, which also heavily implies that this sort of thing is happening all over the earth. So once again, while the aliens are not like as terrible as other aliens we've seen in works of fiction and their treatment of humans, there's still absolutely elements of oppression, abuse, deceit, and
they made it seem like it was driving a regular car
from the aliens and how they treat humans. Key to me also taking this further and presenting a rather compelling theory that the aliens with their highly advanced
Wait, what did that first part say? Was there even a giant meteor heading for Earth to begin with? Good question. Okay, the Vero A's explanation doesn't really help if like they saw the meteorite get exploded.
Me
or not.
also
So
taking this further and presenting a rather compelling theory that the aliens with their highly advanced technology could have created the meteorite that began heading to Earth to begin with.
What
just
did
so
I
they
say?
could destroy it and pull off this whole so-called peaceful invasion. And so at the end of the first chapter, Namamoto's abusive alien boss accidentally gamins himself, the dude inadvertently setting himself on fire. And of course, Namamoto ends up being fired because of this. And shortly after,
you're fired. Go die. So he shit. Let's face it, typical HR, am I right? I mean, this is a typical corporate HR firing notice. Chat, back me up here.
that while she's at home, Kitami shows up and it turns out he also had a little alien incident. Except his was a little bit more intentional. Another alien had hit him in the face. This is like a recurring theme apparently. These aliens love beating up humans. Except this time Kitami didn't take it. He fought back and ended up beating this alien to death. So dude shows up at Namamoto's house and is like, yo, I need your help. We gotta dispose of this body.
Help me hide the body.
And together they end up crafting this solution. The solution of cooking the alien and then eating it. Well, specifically, Namamoto eats the alien. Kitami seems to find it disgusting, but Namamoto loves it. And this is particularly funny because earlier in the manga, she had mentioned how she hasn't been able to afford meat at all. Well, this is her big break. She finds the meat to be delicious. And so as the chapter...
Oh, no. I'm not gonna say she's turned into a cannibal because I don't know if you could be considered a cannibal if you're eating aliens. I don't know, chat, can I get a ruling? If you're eating an alien, are you considered a cannibal? No? Okay, then she's safe. But I do think that means they're gonna turn into serial killers. This is the face of someone who is about to become a serial killer in this manga.
Ends, it sets them up to potentially be this like group of alien murderers who are gonna cook more up and eat them or something. That's kind of like what it left off as. Of course, willing to see where this all goes, but yeah, that's essentially what occurred. A TLDR of chapter 1. There's still a lot of stuff I skipped over though, a lot of fine details. Definitely consider checking this out if it sounds like your cup of tea. And so back to the modern audience thing. What's got them so upset? Why are they so offended by this manga? Well, they seem to think that these manipulative, oppressive, alien blob things represent real-life human immigrants, and they...
What? Are you fucking kidding me right now? These fucking idiot activists are actually trying to accuse the writers of this manga of saying you're putting other ethnicity, you're treating the aliens like they're other ethnicities. This is a direct attack. How? That there is no leap of logic that does not require Mary Lou Retton levels of mental gymnastics to come up with that theory. Seriously. The only way this works is if you are the people that say this are so fucking desperate for attention that they are literally taking a story about aliens that are assholes and saying, look, that's us. You're oppressing us. Yeah, well, this is the group of people that are terminally offended. They are offended at literally everything. Nothing will ever be good enough for them. And this is why I say that these people do not engage with them. Don't even talk to them, don't even look at them. Because they will always be offended no matter what you do. No matter how much if you actually did try to do this, no matter how much you try to placate them or capitulate to them, they will never be satisfied. They are the quintessential beast that cannot be fed.
They say that the two main characters' treatment of these aliens is racist, amongst a number of other things, and therefore they're
Wait, let me cook for a
trying to
second.
also say that the mangaka is a very problematic individual, using this manga as a bunch of dog whistles or something. You know, some of these sort of people always got to try and look for the next thing to call problematic and to get offended by. For example, we have a tweet here with all caps, getting 31,000 plus likes on December 1st, saying, "How did this get greenlit? This manga is just an outlet for a bigoted Japanese person to rant about the recent influence of immigration in Japan."
What? The aliens literally abuse humans. They abuse the main characters indiscriminately. They killed one of the main characters' whole family. The other one gets fired, and her HR notice from the aliens is, "You're fired, go fucking die." And so because the male main character beats one to death after he got attacked first, and then they cook him up and eat him, they're the racist ones? Are you fucking serious? Like, by that logic, by this logic, mind you, that means if they're actually being racist, that means that they are, and by them being racist, I'm going on the assumption that they're calling that because the main character, one, beat one of them to death, and the other one cooked up the alien and ate it. Those two are the supposed racists. If they're actually saying that, Shadow Sparta, that's where I was going. Not actually domestic abuse, racial abuse. It's actually defending racial abuse. Because that's saying that the aliens are non-white. They are the quote-unquote minorities, and you know how I feel about using that word. But that's implying that the aliens are the minorities. African American, Hispanic, Native American, Indian, Pakistani, choose whatever non-white ethnicity you would like. The aliens are the non-white ethnicities. The main characters are white. So they were happy about the aliens beating the shit out of the white people. But when the white people fought back, oh, that's racist. That's what these people are saying. That's what this guy who made this post say. They're all for the abuse of white people, or Japanese people, because this guy's saying that's bigoted Japanese. But as we all know, Asian ethnicity is essentially white adjacent at this point. So it's these people that are calling racism are basically saying, yes, white people should get the shit beaten out of them. That's what these people are saying. I know, obviously I can't make air quotes with the model, but I was air quoting. That's why I was trying to put the I was trying to put the air quote inflection in my voice when I was saying that they are considered white adjacent.
I think the OP may have meant influx of immigration. Not sure. Regardless, that's a pretty bold claim. The fact of the matter is, you can't know for sure why this mangaka made this manga. Maybe he really doesn't like the influx of recent immigration in Japan. And for the record, simply ranting about that, as the tweet claims, doesn't make someone a bigot. That's like the sort of talking point you'd get from The View or something. But anyways, maybe that stuff really did spur the mangaka to make Drama Queen. Or maybe he simply wanted to write about a bunch of obnoxious, disgusting aliens and have a few main characters do something about it. To which the point would therefore be to simply make something entertaining. The responses to that tweet having a bit of duality, one saying cry harder, and the other saying the chapter wasn't even trying to hide the parallel.
The parallel? Where are these people coming up with this? I've really, out of sheer scientific fascination. Okay, this is the same. Bearing in mind, this is the same level of fascination. How many of you guys, to understand the fascination I'm referring to, how many of you guys have seen the movie Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks? How many of you guys have seen that film before? Okay, so for those of you that've seen that movie, there's a scene where this guy, drugged out of his fucking mind, is standing next to the character that plays Tom Hanks' brother. And he's saying some absolutely inane stupid shit. And his brother, who is a doctor, Tom Hanks' brother, who's a doctor, looks at him and says, "I'd love to get you on the operating table. Just once." To obviously dissect his brain to figure out why the hell it works that way, the way it does. Without the get them on the operating table to dissect that part, that's what I'm referring to as I would love to know what their thought process is. Just out of a pure scientific curiosity standpoint, I'd love to know how in the hell their brain took that cross-country trip across Insanoville to come to this conclusion that there's a parallel to racism. Out of pure fascination, I want to know.
Other comments, such as base Japan, and y'all don't remember that Japan has been racist for like a long time. Fork found in kitchen, and I know there's literally only one chapter out, but these are some of the most unlikable characters I've seen in a minute. In my opinion so far, Key to me is what he is, just like kind of generic, needs a little more screen time, I guess, so to speak. But Namamoto's been very entertaining, and ultimately that's an extremely important thing for a main character to be, entertaining. So I'll definitely be reading chapter.
Here's the thing. A main character doesn't have to be likable to be interesting and to be engaging and to be entertaining. There's unfortunately become in all criticisms. I'm not talking about criticism just from the activist group. I'm talking about criticism from the other direction as well. That a character is not likable. A character doesn't have to be likable for the story to still capture your attention and make you want to watch it. A character could be the main character can be very unlikable, but it can still be entertaining. So that's, the requirement of likability doesn't have to be. Yeah, Alex, that's the thing. It's like we are also only one chapter in. She is unlikable in the first chapter. Knows where that may change. It's literally one frickin' chapter.
Chapter 2. I want to see where this thing goes. This tweet claiming that Drama Queen is straight up Nazi manga, saying it's so shockingly racist that they're speechless, and wondering what Shueisha was thinking. That tweet.
Okay, so you can basically ignore everything this person just said. Flat out. You can ignore everything that was just said in this tweet. Because the moment somebody uses the N-word, everything else they say is meaningless. That word has no meaning anymore. The activists and the woke, and I hate using that word, have removed all meaning from that word. Once upon a time invoked the ideology of basically literally eliminating an entire populace and trying to basically remake the entire planet in one person's image has quite literally now become, you don't agree with me. So in modern day context, this word is meaningless. Along with many others, like racism. Racism has become meaningless. And I've said this to you guys many times. Words are losing their power. Words that once had powerful meaning behind it, that got people to sit up and take notice and say, "Oh my God, some shit's happening here. We have to look at this. Like we have to do something about this." Now, the word's absolutely meaningless. And the really scary part, nothing's replacing it. These words of power that are supposed to be used to keep society in check, to make sure it does not devolve into the very state from whence these words first came from, there's been nothing to fill that void. So now if someone uses the word Nazi, people immediately just ignore it. Whereas if something actually does occur, that the word Nazi in its pure form could be appropriately ascribed to it, no one is going to take note of it. Just like with racism. If something actually racist happens, no one takes note of it anymore because the word has been used to death and nobody cares anymore. And and there's no terminology that has filled that void to make people actually care. So we're moving into a societal point where words of power are now meaningless. And we've lost words of power that get people to sit up and take notice of horrible events.
Tweet getting over 1,400 likes. Another tweet says, yes, because them being racist is totally not a character flaw and looked down by other characters in the story. And showing an example where some of the other coworkers at the factory look at Namamoto and say, couldn't you have called for help? In reference to how she watched the abusive boss immolate. And it's amazing how these people are upset that the abusive boss got axed. Dude would literally like hit her every day and make her bleed. But for some reason, so many of these people are letting that go, not saying anything about it, and instead blaming.
Because these activists are all for racism against white people. That's what it is. These activists are happy whenever white people are harmed. That's exactly why. That's why there's no other way around it. There's no other way to look at this. You know, the main characters in this chapter are representative of white people. The aliens are representative of non-white people. They were happy when the main characters were getting the shit kicked out of them on a daily basis. They're happy about it. The opposite happens, and the main characters finally fight back. And all of a sudden they're screaming racism? Yeah, that means they want white people to get hurt. And the real scary part is, how many of these people that are saying this are white themselves? And they are basically have, what do you mean it's the opposite? What are you talking about, Zeb? Because they're saying that the aliens... What? No, the complainers are saying, the complainers were talking about, the way this is being presented thus far, the complainers are saying that because the aliens got attacked. Well, hang on 1 second. 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. My guest needed me real quickly. Um, no, I got called from upstairs. My guest needed some help. Um, okay. So, hang on. Let me see what Zeb is. So, people are complaining that the manga is portraying the aliens as immigrants. Well, Zeb, that's what I'm talking about, though. Because if the aliens were, if that is true, that if their complaint is that the aliens being treated as immigrants, bear in mind that means they were happy about the aliens beating the shit out of the native people. They were happy about that. Because notice they never once said anything about they're portraying the alien, that the aliens are like immigrants and they're being portrayed as like angry or something like that. Because what I'm seeing here is that they're talking about like how it's immigrant, the aliens are immigrants, but eh, like they are being portrayed as violent. See, because I'm not okay. I'm not seeing that in the commentary. That's the reason why they're that's the reason like they're upset about him being portrayed as violent. So they're angry because they're portraying quote unquote immigrants as being bad. Yeah, I don't know. It's like you know what? I could be you know what? I'm gonna Zed. Who knows? You could be right, or I could be right, or neither of us could be right. Because you know what? Here's the funny part. We Zed, you, I, and every other rational person on this stream right now try to think like a bunch of fucking crazy people. That's part of the problem. We're trying to think like these absolute lunatics that have an issue with this manga in the first place. And because we're trying to think logically, it doesn't make sense. I think that's part of the problem. Yes, Emperor Wolf, you are rational. I think that's part of the problem. Zed, you're looking at it from one angle, I'm looking at it from another angle, and they're coming from and I think that the people themselves are coming at an angle that has more twist than a twisty straw. That may be part of the problem. I thought this was inspired by the hateful YouTubers and TikTokers razzing locals. Yeah, Gore, I think someone mentioned that also. That it's that it had something to do with the YouTubers and the TikTokers coming like Johnny Somali and them. I thought so too. But again, we're trying to put our mind like in terms of the people complaining. We're trying to basically put our mind into of the mindset of people that don't make sense. And I think that's part of the issue. Like Zed, you were looking at it from that angle. I was looking at it from my angle in terms of what we think these people are thinking. But it's kind of like I was talking about earlier, how I'd love to know what the thought process is, just as from a scientific experiment point of view. And either of us could be right, or both of us could be wrong. Because let's face it, we are not crazy, and we don't understand how these crazy people think. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly Zeb. And that's what I'm trying to say is like we're both coming at it from different perspectives and we can both be wrong, completely wrong. And they're just coming way out in they're coming way out in Alpha Centauri with their mindset, which we can't even hope to try and figure out.
Namamoto for everything. Following that same premise, I found this comment to be very interesting. They start by referencing another manga and then go on to talk about Drama Queen, saying, in this, however, the aliens aren't even necessarily doing anything wrong from what we've seen. The main character claims she got hit, but we didn't see it either time. There's no proof that the system is rigged for the aliens, or that they faked the meteor. Meanwhile, they're the ones killing and eating people. Well, aliens, are aliens people? Maybe that's the question this series is going to address. I'm interested in how future chapters go, at the very least. Well, at least they're interested in
What?
seeing where it goes. However,
Here we go. This kind of is tilting towards the way I was thinking, how they're basically identifying with the aliens. Because they're saying the MC claims she got hit, but we didn't see it either time. So they're already coming up with excuses how the aliens are good. Like maybe the aliens aren't actually that as bad, and this is just a trick or something. Yeah, so this is the shit I was talking about. So this kind of is leaning back towards, yeah, it could be like doing an unreliable narrator, but then he's got two narrators, Seb. Because the MC's claiming she got hit, but we didn't see it. There's no proof that the system is rigged for aliens or that they faked the meteor. That was a supposition by the other main character. So we're gonna have two unreliable narrators? That might be a bit of a push. It might be a little bit of a push for the author to have both main characters as being unreliable. Because the whole concept of the unreliable narrator thing only really works if you're only getting the single unreliable narrator and the vast majority of the story is told from that person's perspective. Where you're only getting, that's why having two unreliable narrators doesn't kind of work. You've seen third person perspective narrator? Maybe. I mean, you are correct. Like Japanese manga, Japanese animation can get seriously mindfucky. Absolutely. It's very tough to do though. So who knows? Again, another point of note. It's chapter 1 of God knows how many chapters, and this is a manga, so God knows this could go on for a long fucking time if this author really cooks.
interested in how future chapters go, at the very least. Well, at least they're interested in seeing where it goes. However, there's some issues with that comment. First of all, they victim blame Namamoto, saying there's no proof that she actually got hit, when she's shown bleeding multiple times. And the first time, yeah, we can see the alien like raised his arm, seemingly smacking Namamoto behind him and making her bleed from the nose.
Huh.
To which she does say, yeah, the alien hit her, and he refuses to apologize. To be fair, there is an argument that this may have not actually hit her the way this was drawn or something, but it seems like a weak argument. And of course, they also said there's no proof that the system is rigged for the aliens, when in fact we do have proof of that. The first example being how aliens are getting free parking places.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like the very first frame back here. Where was it? I'm gonna try to avoid skipping on it. But one of the first couple frames that we see of the manga, it shows parking. Let's see if I can find it. I don't think I can find it, but it shows like, okay, parking X amount of yen, sweet parking just for the aliens. So yeah, they do get treated better.
While humans are forced to pay. And of course, the whole situation with Kitami and his family. Those are just a few examples, but let's check out this response where someone said to that person, the part where she, being Namamoto, claims she was hit is the most telling part. If the author really wanted to paint the alien as the bad guy, they would have drawn a panel of the alien elbowing her to drive the point the alien is bad. But in all three panels where she got a nosebleed, we never see the alien touch her. So I already addressed that point earlier. Let's continue on to the next thing this person says, which is, it could be that she internalized the hatred she had for the alien so much that she thinks her nosebleeds are caused by the alien. These people really sound like they're just victim blaming, really. They end with this. If done correctly, this manga could be a good social commentary on the effects of xenophobia, racism on the mind of people. I've seen so much parallel with this chapter, and Haitian/Ohio situation in real life. Oh.
There it is. They have to take something and twist it so it'll fit the narrative of the current hot button topic with these activists. There it is, right there. this is like the force injection shit. The forced social commentary injection shit and everything. These people are so fucking delusional that they have to make everything about either Ryget, yes, either me, or they have to make it about some hot button social issue that's come up for that day or that week. They said the aliens were eating people. I don't think they said the aliens were eating people.
Do these people not realize the Japanese don't just give you all the information lazily and all at once in writing cheer 100?
No, Revan, they don't. They don't. Flat out. Hang on. Let me do some quick backups here. No, because they only talked about the main character eating people. I don't think they mentioned anything about the aliens eating people. That's the only thing that they mentioned. But Revan? No, they don't.
This, my friends, is what we call projection. They're seeing
Yes.
parallels and connections that aren't really there.
Leo, I would have also accepted psychosis as an answer. That would also be acceptable. Cause yeah, they have, and this is the terminally offended, because they have, if something doesn't actually correspond with some sociological event that they are currently offended by, because let's be honest, this shit changes literally weekly. It is like the sociological issues change on a weekly basis. Let's not fuck around with that. So if something popular does not coincide with that weekly sociological activist event, these people will forcibly make this particular thing about that sociological issue, or they will deride it for not being about the sociological issue. That's how these people fucking think. And getting back to what Revan said, no, people don't realize that you don't get force-fed everything in chapter 1 in Japanese manga. These are the kind of people that, like, bear in mind, these are the people that like Dustport, where everything is literally spoon-fed to you. And you don't have to think, just consume. So no, they don't realize that a story is not instantly and 100% thrust upon you so you know everything right off the jump. They don't understand that. Flat out.
So I already addressed that point earlier. Let's continue on to the next thing this person says, which is, it could be that she internalized really sound like their social comment and these growing aliens, that's just it's all her fault. She's really just imagining this and just bleeding for some reason. A reason that's totally not the fault of the aliens hitting her in the face. Now, I did admit this could have been drawn more clearly. However, if I had to pick, like, is she really getting hit or not, I'd say the evidence is more compelling that she is, despite some arguments you can make about the way this was drawn. Another top comment reading, it's satire. We're meant to relate to the protagonists, but we're sure as heck not supposed to like them. We don't see the alien accident that supposedly leads to the loss of the male character's family. It's implied by the InfoWars quoted MCs that the alien...
Really? You're gonna equate the author of this manga was Japanese to fucking Alex Jones? But that was so fucking stupid it defies description. Yeah, well, coded? Using the word coded like this basically means I have no evidence to support my belief, so I'm going to use this word to basically give myself an easy out because it's like like what's words I'm looking for? Tangentially related. Ironically enough, using the word coded is basically code. flat out. It is a buzzword that doesn't actually have any proper fucking meaning other than what these activists make it mean. But the fact that they're calling it InfoWars, that they're equating this Japanese artist to fucking Alex Jones, it means they're an idiot. Every commenter we've seen so far in this text, they're fucking idiots. And they should not be taken seriously for anything.
Aliens may have staged the meteorite incident, and that they're taking jobs away from humans, but there's no evidence of that. We don't see the aliens hit anyone. And then there's the title, Drama Queen. So yeah, it's a somewhat subversive jab for shonen at the xenophobic politics pervading much of the world currently. Otherwise, this would be one of the worst first chapters of manga I've ever read. If done right, there will be more complexity and nuance as we go forward. For example, perhaps we'll find that a less scrupulous alien leader did stage the meteorite incident to find a home to save their species, but that most of the alien population is unaware and are decent.
Because, of course, this person says that the aliens are all wonderful people. It's just a couple of bad actors. And not that perhaps the alien race did use this to try and trick the humans so they could basically take over their planet in a non-violent way. But no, they had to do this, whereas just an alien, a less scrupulous alien leader did this, but most of them are unaware of it. Seriously?
But I do expect that the story stands firmly against xenophobia/racism/eating sentient beings, despite what we learned in Chapter 1. I think some of these people take everything way too seriously. I don't care if it's satire or not.
Because they don't have a life otherwise.
I don't care if they stand against eating the aliens or not. I care if it's entertaining, and so far it has been. As a matter of fact, that's also what I care about regarding the characters. I like the character. Well, I like Namamoto. Like I said, Kitami is a bit generic and bland so far, but Namamoto's been likable. Is she entertaining on screen? For me, that's a yes. So yes, I like that character. The same thing goes for a lot of villains in various manga and anime. Look at the Stern Ritter, for example, in Bleach. A lot of them are very entertaining, despite doing terrible things, and that's why they have a lot of fans, because people want entertainment out of their entertainment. Shocker. Yet for some of these people, they need everything to match their real-world political positions 100%. And if it doesn't, then they're not supposed to like that thing, and they can't enjoy it.
And that's because the people like that don't have a life. These are people that if they are not outraged about something like this, they don't have meaning. They do not feel like they have existence or meaning to their lives. And being enraged about social injustices is literally the only way they find meaning in life. Which is very sad. That's a very sad and unfortunately pathetic way to go through life. To be perpetually offended because that is the only way they can find meaning. Because that's not positive meaning. That means you're living your entire life soaked in negativity. Because you're always offended by something. You're not being righteous. These people need to realize they're not being righteous. They're not fighting on the, quote, right side of history. They're literally just embroiling themselves in the very toxicity that they are claiming to fight against. They're just perpetually swimming in an ocean of it, saying this is a beautiful warm bath. And until they figure this out, until they realize, you know what? This isn't actually making me feel good. It's never going to stop. They're going to keep going. And the best thing to do when you encounter them is just say, bye. You know, one of them wants to try and get into an argument with you, and then, if you disagree with someone, I told you this before, I still hold true to this advice. If you're in a discussion with someone, and you're having a perfectly calm, rational, reasonable discussion, and they instantly turn it into something racial or sexist, or basically, if they pull the istophobia on you, like out of nowhere that makes absolutely no goddamn sense. Do one thing and one thing only. Just say to them, I win. Turn around and walk away. That's it. That's all you have to do. Because the minute they start pulling up the instant, instant phobia jissy, whatever the hell it is, they have no argument. Because that is the default for them to basically because 10 years ago, using that terminology was a means of expressing authority on a subject of that nature. And it's no longer the case. So now when they pull it out, it's just, cool, I win. Bye. And walk away. Well, Bigglesworth, I say just say I win because it'll just piss them off. They'll seethe for hours about that because they'll try to deny that you actually won the discussion and try to say, I won that. And well, in the meantime, it's going to be cooking in their head that you walked away feeling like a winner. That's why I say, just say, look, I win. Just like that, and walk away.
In any way, shape, or form. These sort of people are completely devoid of nuance. It's a pretty sad thing. Anyways, let's read a few more top comments here so you can get more examples of people getting offended by this manga. And I'm not going to comment as much now because I'm actually running out of time. I gotta be out the door really soon. So here's another top comment. It reads, I'll try to give the author the benefit of the doubt since it's only the first chapter and the art's good. That being said, I'm unsure if the manga is meant to be satirical, wish fulfillment, anti-colonialist, or anti-immigration.
Holy
Might
fuck!
be all of them, I don't know. I'll stick around for the ride though, since their previous one-shots are apparently pretty good, plus it's rare for Jump to release something this unhinged. The only reason why I'm hesitant to assume that manga is 100% satire, / the characters being horrible is on purpose, is because Tokyo Shinobi Squad did essentially the same thing, without a hint of self-awareness. You get an image here that says, what's becoming of this country? So much for a glorious nation. I keep seeing people claim this is...
He didn't say glorious nation, he said so much for globalization. I think Herohead misquoted there a little bit, perhaps.
Anti-colonial because the aliens are the population majority, but that part just kind of reads like a Great Replacement conspiracy dystopia to me. Response saying it's 100% ripped straight from Great Replacement theory style conspiracies. Someone asks, what's the manga about? Gets a response that says aliens show up to save the Earth from a giant asteroid, and they become super popular and start propagating on Earth everywhere, from media to industry. Protagonist keeps talking about how much they hate them, and how they're showing up everywhere. And her boss is even one. Something happens, and they find out that aliens are edible. Yes,
something
they
happens.
Eat the alien. It has pretty weird vibes, and I'm still on the fence if that's intentional or not. Might be about Great Replacement theory, or might just be a slow
I hope he
alien
reads the
invasion.
bottom comment.
The protagonist so far isn't made out to be a hero or heroic, and still too early to say if it's really that bad. But I'm still gonna make fun of it, like with Freegren. There's so many more examples.
Chat, I love the bottom comment. For someone who responds to this, I mean, humans are also made of food. Ask any bear. This commenter right here is fucking based. Rocket Del Tardigrade, first of all, great fucking Reddit handle. Love your Reddit handle. Secondly, based fucking comment right there. I absolutely love it. And Jadid's 168, thank you for the follow.
If it's really that bad, but I'm still gonna make fun of it, like with Freegren. There's so many more examples that I could show you and discuss, but as mentioned, I'm out of time. So let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments. And if you enjoyed my coverage, consider liking and or subscribing. Appreciate ya, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hell my. Well, that was something, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's...
This manga reminds me of the Twilight Zone episode where aliens arrive on Earth peacefully and traded technology for humans coming back to live on their home world. Cheer 100.
Oh. I don't think I'd heard of that one, Ribbon. Just called To Serve Mankind. Okay. Huh. Hadn't heard about it.